Hey, you know what? I was having a conversation with let's just put it like this, a close, I'll call her a friend. Um, and we were talking about a couple of things that were personal to both she and I. And when I told her my situation, she said what I needed to do is pray and, just enlist the help of Jesus Christ. And when she said that, immediately this verse came into my head. And I told her this verse that I'm about to read here in a minute from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. I didn't recall the verse per se, which book and the number of the verse, but I did recall the scripture. And I told it to her. I said, "Nah, Jesus not gonna um, help me out with this." And, she got a little beside herself. I guess she thought I was being unfaithful or whatever she thought. So I told her this verse, and here it is. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34. It says, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to part asunder a man from his father, and a daughter from her mother, and a newly married wife from her mother-in-law. And a man's foes will be they of his own household." Foes being enemies. You can also turn to the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 51, and it says pretty much the same thing. The only difference between Luke's depiction is that Jesus said, "Do not think that I've come to bring peace on earth. No, I've come to bring division." But in Matthew's version, he said, "I've come to bring a sword." And he said he's going to turn everybody in each household against one another, and they'd become enemies. When I said that to her, when I told her about that verse, she was like, "What? Jesus said that?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's written in the Bible. Daddy said it." She's like, "Oh, well, I don't recall that. I don't think Jesus would have said that." And I'm like, "Well, he said it. He definitely said it because it's written in the Bible." And I offered to grab a Bible real quick and show it to her, but she refused. She didn't want to. She didn't want to investigate. Instead, she told me that she would have to speak to her pastor about it to see what was going on. And she was pretty unnerved by me telling her that. She was pretty spooked. Now, mind you, this is Jesus saying what he's going to do or why he's come. And what he said is something that Christians normally attribute to the devil, Satan, his adversary. Satan being a one who would turn people against each other, tempt people to evil, and to become enemies, turn love into hate. But no, this is Jesus saying that he would do it. So the question is, why would he say that? Why would he say that? If you are a Christian and you believe in the traditional tale of salvation about how it's supposed to happen, you might want to figure out that Luke 10:34, what he meant by that, why he would have said it, because everything he said is crucial to your deliverance. So if you don't understand the big picture, the whole picture, then just like this woman, you might be confused and you might consider yourself a believer when you're really not. I tell you what, the guy wasn't kidding because my family was heavily into the whole Christian environment. And they still are. I am not so much, but they are. And the division, he wasn't kidding about that. He started with my family at a very, very early age when my father passed away. There was division between my people, my immediate family, and then my father passes away, and then that pretty much threw me for a loop. And things gradually got progressively worse until I decided to take it upon myself to figure out the what's and the whys about everything that happened. And now I believe I know why he said it. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty certain that I know why he said what he said, but I'll just keep that to myself. I'm not here to traumatize anybody, just like that woman that I spoke to, that I just mentioned, was traumatized. I'm not. I'm not trying to traumatize anybody by telling you what I think, but a good thing would be to do is to get an understanding, a true understanding. You're gonna have to have an understanding. Maybe you can go to your pastor. Maybe he can explain something to you that's comforting about why the Messiah would say something like that when we think that it is the devil who is responsible for division. And I tell you what, the way I see the dynamics in the church, I hadn't been in a church in a long time, but here recently, maybe about a month ago, I went to a church service and I could see clearly that division the Messiah spoke about. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And it reminded me why I stopped attending church. But I never stopped believing in salvation. Anyway, get an understanding. It's crucial, it's beneficial to your mental well being, and it's crucial to your salvation if you are to be one of those who are handpicked to be one of the elect of God. And there's not going to be very many. Like, if you think about it, the throngs followed the guy. I mean, thousands of people, but he only handpicked 12 out of thousands. The book of Revelation said it's going to be similar to that. You got all these churches, and that this is part of the reason why he said it. This won't be as traumatizing when I tell you this, but you got all these churches inviting the masses of people, come give your life over to Jesus that you may be saved. These people are promising, these churches with all these false prophets and ministers promising all these throngs of people salvation when the Bible clearly says that only a tiny few will make it. They're not even teaching them the correct way of acceptance anyway. So you got all these people just gullibly being led, as it says in the Bible, like lambs to the slaughter. They're calling all these people. And I think it's for personal gain, promising all these people that they're going to be saved. When the Bible clearly says God Himself will pick those select few. All you can do, I suppose, all anybody can do, is just try to put their best foot forward. And it's like, I guess it almost sounds like the teacher with a class of a whole bunch of students, and they're like, me, pick me. I don't know. But it clearly says God's going to do the selecting. These false prophets that are calling the masses just to gain notoriety or fame or whatever they want to have, money, mostly money. Oh, yeah, they want to be rich, but they're teaching it backwards. And there's a reason for that, too. But I do believe that's one of the reasons why the man said, I didn't come to bring peace on earth, but a sword. And I'm going to divide up these families, turn everybody against each other, and make them foes of one another, enemies. Your enemy will be in your own household. How about that? Tell you what, I'm glad nobody lives with me at the moment. Right about now, I don't want any enemies. I can do bad by myself. But yes, that's about it. Y'all be safe. Um, thank you for listening. Seek understanding. Understand what doctrine you understand thoroughly. Seek to understand thoroughly the doctrine you've accepted. At some point, you will have to come to an understanding. Nevertheless, I'm going to sign out. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the Spiritology television network. Get the book, The Power of Spiritology. Let me see if I brought it up. Oh, yeah, I bought it. I have it. This is the book, The Power of Spiritology by Dario Thomas. It's on sale at Amazon.com. It can really clear the mind, give you a degree of enlightenment to where understanding can come to you, because understanding can only come from God anyway. Nobody can preach to you and pound understanding into your head. A sermon might make you feel good, but it's not going to put understanding in your head. It's not going to do that. If that was the case, this world would be paradise by now. Anyway, again, I'm signing out. Take care and God bless.